Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm the Mother of Tarot. In today's video, we are going to talk about politics and spirituality. Now, my spiritual path, I've been on it for a couple years, and recently I have developed and formed some new opinions when it comes to politics. Now, I encourage you to watch this video with an open mind, and in no way am I going to try to persuade you to think a certain way. This is a very open video. I am not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, or I'm both. I'm still processing that and figuring it out, but I really wanted to share these concepts that have been brought to my attention recently through meditation and all of my spiritual practices. Now, I do want to mention before we get started that I have been raised in a Republican household. However, the last 5 years I did live in California and all of my friends were Democrats. So I love all of you, both of you. So I just want to make that clear before we dive in. Now, if you're like me, maybe you've had a hard time picking sides. You see good viewpoints from both, you see corruption in both, and you're just not really sure which side to root for. Maybe you go back and forth, or you just get really confused when it comes to politics. Or maybe you're a Republican and you have a hard time understanding Democrats, and you get really frustrated with them, you get really annoyed with them, and you want to understand them. Well, I have a really unique understanding of both parties. Maybe you're a Democrat and you really don't like Republicans. You think that they're horrible people, you think they're racist, you think they have misconstrued views. I mean, you name it. So let's get into the energy of Republicans and Democrats and understand it from more of a spiritual perspective. Now, I do want to mention that this is my personal opinion. This is a new belief pattern that I've formed, and I'm not trying to persuade you. Just take it if it resonates. If not, move on with your day. Okay, so let's start with the Republican Party. I love Republicans. I do. I love Democrats too. But Republicans are logical thinkers. They're problem solvers. Republicans are really good at putting their emotions to the side. When they put their emotions to the side, they can then think logically and practically. And then we have Democrats. Democrats are some of the most loving people that I've met. They are heart-centered people. They have a lot of compassion, and they just want to do what's right. I have a lot of friends that are Democrats, and they would just bend over backwards for me. Now, these are the Democrats and the Republicans that I know. I understand. I don't think that they're all like this. This is just a general assessment of the energy behind these two views and these different types of people. Now let's go back to Republicans. Republicans are logical thinkers. They think from their head space more than their heart space. They're crown-centered people. Now we have different energy centers of the body, and Republicans they mint most of their power from their head space, from their crown chakra. And then you have the Democrats. And the Democrats are heart-centered. They emit a lot of frequency from their heart space. Now, what's bad about this? Because obviously we want to think logically, but we want to do it from a place of compassion. So it's great to be a crown-centered person, a mind-centered person. If you think more logically, that is great. When you do that too much, you lose some compassion. I'm not saying that all Republicans don't have hearts and that Democrats don't have brains. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that predominantly Republicans go for the more rational, logical approach, while Democrats go for the more compassionate, sensitive approach. Now, a lot of Republicans that I've seen, and this is not all the Republicans, but a lot of them that I have seen aren't as compassionate as I believe that they should be. This world is messed up. There's a lot of problems going on, and I love that they want to solve them and that they have a lot of information to get things done, but I believe that they could use their hearts more, that they could use more compassion. I mean, look at our president. He's getting some stuff done. He's a smart man, but I think we can all agree that he's not very compassionate. Now, what upsets me about politics is the division. Politics tell us that we either have to be a logical thinker, that we have to put our emotions to the side and stop being sensitive. And then there's the Democrats, who are full of compassion, but they let their emotions cloud their judgment. So why can't we be both? Why can't we balance our brains with our hearts? Growing up, politics never made sense to me. I was very open-minded as a child. I still am today. I had a very hard time forming opinions if somebody was in an argument or a political debate, I had a very hard time figuring out which person was right, because I would be like, well, that person makes sense, that person makes sense. They both kind of make sense. I don't understand what the issue is here. And society makes you feel bad for that. They're like, no, listen, Megan, you need to pick a side. You need to decide, are you a Republican or are you Democrat? Because if you don't pick a side, that means you're uneducated. That means you're not doing your research. That means all kinds of different things for different people. So until recently, until I've been working on myself, I have never really understood why I couldn't pick a side. Well, let me tell you the truth. You don't have to pick a side. I don't like all the division that this creates in the world. I don't think it's healthy. I think it brings more hate, it brings more arguments, and I believe that there's a better way. I believe that if we work on ourselves, that we can find peace and we can find balance between the logical thinking and the compassion. I've been tuning into some of the Republican channels on YouTube and from other different sources, and I do love some of the concepts that they make, and I love the practicality, but sometimes I get really offended, and not personally, but just I get really uncomfortable because they are just not, a lot of them are not sensitive, because they don't see the value in that. A lot of them don't see the value in compassion. Now, this is a general viewpoint of this, so I'm not saying that they don't have any compassion. They do have some, but I don't think Republicans understand the power behind compassion. Our heart space is one of the most powerful frequencies that we give off from our body. Energetically, it's measured through science. I'm not going to get into all of that. The details on that, you can do your own research about the frequency that we emit from our heart space. It is way more powerful, and I hope that we can all agree that this world needs more compassion and needs more love, because that's what we crave. As humans, we're designed to crave love, crave compassion, and connection. But then you have the Democrats. A lot of Democrats get overwhelmed with their emotions, and they can't always think clearly. They have so much love, so much compassion, that it can cloud their judgment. And a really sad thing that I've been seeing, and this just isn't just in the Democratic Party, I believe that Republicans can do this as well, but I've seen it more predominantly in the Democratic Party, is the bullying and the shame that's happening right now. Now, I'm not going to get into the BLM movement, the police brutality. I don't want to get into the specifics of that because I don't want to persuade you into thinking a certain viewpoint. However, when these issues arose, there were a lot of people that I saw that were in my social media that were debating, that were making other people feel guilty, calling them racist if they didn't get involved in a certain way to protest or to do what they think is right. This energy at first, not knowing what it was, made me feel really bad. It was bringing shame and guilt. It was telling us that we needed to feel bad so that we would understand what's happening. Now, I work with energy. I'm an energy worker. I'm an energy healer. I read tarot. I don't believe that if we bring in a dark energy of shame and guilt and fear into a world that needs more love and compassion, I don't think that helps. I see the thought process behind it. I understand, because when you want someone to understand you, you want them to understand how you feel. Yeah? So sometimes we bring other people down to our level so that they can understand, because we think that that's important. So we bring people's vibrations down to a lower level. And then we hope that while they're in that lower level, they can bring compassion and love. When compassion and love are at a very high vibration, completely different from the shame, the fear, and the guilt. I've experienced this in my personal life with some of my friends, and it has been really horrible. And I didn't realize that it was bullying until recently, until I was able to really sit with what was happening and really dig into it, because after I read some responses from some friends, they were getting very upset with me about not using my platform for the Black Lives Matter movement. When I was still trying to educate myself and form my opinion and really understand what was going on, I was accused of not doing my research because I didn't just start posting everything on my Instagram feed. Now, I'm not saying that people shouldn't protest. I'm not saying that people shouldn't post on social media. If you feel called to do that, it is very important to do your part And a lot of you that watch my Instagram know that when this all was happening, and it's still happening, but when it started, I talked about how everybody is doing their part in this world. And it might not seem like the part you think that they should play, but they are doing their part. Because we're all connected in this world. We all make up this reality. We have created this, what's happening in this world. It's easy for us to point fingers and say, well, no, he did this and he did that and she needs to change and she needs to change this and they need to do that and it's easy to point fingers. It is easy to point fingers. But does that help? Is that helping anybody? When someone aggressively tells me what to do and how I need to think, that pushes me further away from it. That makes me not want to be a part of it. We've been like this since we were young. I mean, think about when we first started dating and your parents were like, I don't want you to date that person. What did we do? We dated that person. We did what we wanted to do. And we still do it. We still do what we want to do. So when people say, you're wrong, you're racist, you're this, you're that, you need to change. We need to stop pointing fingers because we all created this world that we're in. So I'm going to be honest with you, I don't have all the answers. I really don't. I wish that I had a ton of answers to be able to provide for you and say, this is what we should believe and this is what we should do. I mean, obviously I believe in balance, right? I think we need to balance these energies. I think we need to stop picking sides. I don't know how to change that in a political sense. I don't know. These are just observations that I'm making that I think could help some people come to this movement and these changes in this world with a different viewpoint and more open mind. So like I said, we all created this world. Our world is a reflection of our energy. So what can we do? Well, we can stop pointing fingers. We can start working on ourselves. And I mean deep inner work, deep inner healing, learning how to balance our compassion and our love with our minds, learning to balance our energy centers of our body, getting into a spiritual practice. Or maybe you're not a spiritual person and you're like, I don't want to do that. Get into some type of therapy where you know you're going to better yourself, where you're going to face some of your demons and your fears from the past. Get into some uncomfortable meditations, sit with those feelings and discover who you are and discover how you can make yourself a better person to make this world a better person. And some of you might be thinking that's counterproductive. Why should I be focusing on the energy on myself when these people need to change and this needs to happen and we need to change this? Well, I'm not saying don't do that at all. I'm not saying that don't put your efforts out into the universe where you can and you know that if you know something's going to help, then do it. But find the balance. Do that and then go work on yourself. Do that and then go work a little more on yourself. And if you need to work with somebody that can help you get you started on a path to self-discovery and healing, then find somebody that has these same views of quality and oneness and realizing that we are creators of our world. We have so much more power than we even realize. And let's come into this situation and not be shaming people and making people feel guilty, but coming in it with love. This world needs love. This world needs compassion. Yes, it needs to change, but we don't need to do it with fearful tactics. I really believe that. So how can we work on ourselves? We can ask ourselves questions. Some of the things that I've done to heal myself, and it's been one hell of a healing journey for me. I dealt with a lot of depression and chronic illness, so I have gone through the ringer with some intense healing, and I'm still doing a lot of healing. I don't have all the answers. I don't have it figured out, but I have a lot of good stuff figured out, and that's why I have this channel, right? I'm trying to share it with you guys. But what did I do? I cleaned up my diet. I ate high vibrational foods. I started to learn how to love myself because I really didn't like myself on a subconscious level. This wasn't something that was on the forefront of my awareness. This was something that had been embedded in me and since I was young. When I was young, I suffered from chronic illness, so I hated my body. It was always failing me, so I thought. It was always disappointing me, and so I had a lot of hate towards myself. So I had to learn how to love myself. And when you learn how to love yourself, that reflects on your outer world. You bring in more peace, you bring in more clarity, alignment, and balance. So I'm not saying you have to meditate. I'm just saying that's a good place to start. I found breathwork classes very, very healing. Spending time in nature, going on hikes, getting into your artistic side, really doing things that you love, and really understanding how beautiful and how powerful you are. And if you don't know that, I'm here, and I'm going to tell you really quick, You are freaking beautiful, and you are powerful. You are so much more powerful than you realize. Trust me that a girl that used to feel so powerless and so weak and so triggered by everything around her, so sensitive and so energetically off balance, I can tell you that once I started to learn about my power, really step into it, which I still am. I'm still getting a little nervous making these videos, but I'm getting better. That there is so much power within all of us. So we need to work on ourselves, work within. And that's what I encourage you all to do. I really hope that you found this informative and helpful. If you have any more questions on some of the concepts I've talked about, please shoot a comment below. I also have my email in the description box if you want to send me an email. I'm really open, obviously, to all different concepts. I really like to explore more of this. This is some of the newer ideas that I've formed over the past couple weeks. This isn't something that I've abided by for years. So I'm very open to other people's suggestions and opinions, and I didn't mean to, if I did, disrespect any of you that are Republican or Democrat or anything in between. I apologize. I love you guys, and I really want to bring a lot of love and compassion to my channel and a lot of knowledge too, right? I want to bring both. I want to teach people that they can have both. They can have it all. And I really want to help make this world a better place. So thanks for visiting my channel. Please like it, share it if you think it could help somebody, and I will see you all at the next video. Bye.